All right. Welcome to the Dave and a Critical Hit 64 podcast of greatness, episode 1. How's it going, a Critical Hit 64?
What's up, man? How are you?
Pretty good. Glad you came. This is mainly all Brandon's idea. I just came up with the name. I did that, but this is basically all Brandon. Glad you could, let me be a part of this. And I was a little lost on the whole thing, but it's really good you came up with this idea, man. I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, no problem,
man.
How you going?
Pretty much what this will be is this is a pro Sony podcast where Brandon and I have been noticing, here on YouTube, there really isn't one, right?
How are you?
Pretty good. Like, mainly all Brandon's idea. I just came up with the name. I did that.
Having some technical difficulties. We must be running this on the Xbox One.
But yeah, pretty much what I noticed, there is no pro Sony podcast really when you think about it. Like I've seen Xbox dudes, I've seen Nintendo, but there's really nothing that's just Sony, and Sony news and things to do with pretty much the Sony side of things. Would you guys agree or?
I would agree. It's hard to find bad Sony news right now because they're doing really well.
Yeah. Very few. I was thinking about Pyro Attack or JTech TV, but that's the only channel I can think of that's pro Sony.
So there's very few, and that's why we wanted to, start this. And I'm glad we have Dathip here too with us, and let's just, go from here. First topic, I guess we'll start off with the title. Why we chose a PS4 over an Xbox One. Who wants to go first? And you actually, Dathip, got rid of your Xbox One, right?
Let Dathip go first.
Yeah, man, I got rid of my Xbox One. I no longer own the Xbox One or the Wii U. I got rid of my Wii U last year. Got sick of the Wii U and also got rid of the Xbox One. And it was roughly after 2 or 3 months, man, I was like done with it. But aside from that, reason why I bought a PlayStation 4 is because, this is all subjective speaking, but number one was JRPGs, because JRPGs are practically not even prevalent on the Xbox brand. They sell terribly. Even Nintendo does not get many JRPGs. So any type of JRPG like Tales franchise, Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, anything of that nature, the PlayStation brand's always had, even since the PlayStation 1. So Sony keeps continuing that year with third-party developers, building a relationship with JRPGs, continually building them in. That's the first reason. The second reason why I chose is because it's the most natural console, like the most competitive. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sony PlayStation 4 has a biggish install base per games in comparison to the multi-plats that would be also on the Xbox One. Like Kingdom Hearts 3 is not going to sell well on Xbox One, it's going to tank, and the PlayStation 4 version is going to sell millions of copies. That's one of the biggest reasons, the install base. So when it comes to a brand and that continual life cycle, generation to generation, in terms of building up units and sales, the PS4 is the most prevalent console to pick up. So it's not even a question. Xbox or Nintendo is always second, in my opinion. And then the third reason, I would say, PlayStation 4, man, it's just, that's pretty much it for me. The PlayStation 4 just meets that standard, simply put. And I would say that the PlayStation 4 is a region-free console. The Wii U is not region-free. You gotta buy another Wii U to play some of their imports, so we gotta wait forever to get here in America. And now the Xbox One is region-free, but there's barely any imports to get for that console. They don't even sell well. So I love getting imports from Japan, and even Europe has some special editions that come to this console that we don't get here in America, and vice versa here in America to Europe. So those are the big reasons why I chose a PlayStation 4.
Okay, all right. What about you, Brandon?
Well, as a lot of people know, I used to own a Wii U, and I still own a PC. But basically, it got to the point where last year, right around the time Smash came out, I was like, "What the fuck? There is no games on this Wii U. I can't defend it anymore. Look at the 3DS. Just look at all the games that are on the 3DS. Why can't they do that?" So I'm sitting there. I'm deciding, what should I do? Should I get a PS4 or just build another PC? And I honestly didn't want to spend the money because what I wanted, the rig I wanted, was actually a little bit beyond what I wanted to pay. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna get the PS4. I got the PS4, and I can honestly say it's rekindled a lost love for consoles for me. For instance, consoles have been kind of jerking me around lately. With the Wii U, with the Xbox 360, I've just had a bad time. Now I'm starting to experience consoles all over again in a new way, and it's actually wonderful. And it's all thanks to PlayStation 4. So.
Mm-hmm. So that's pretty okay. My reason. Before the PS4 came out, I did not pre-order either one, Xbox One or PS4, and I was debating which one to go with. And then, it was Walmart. I called them up when the PS4 was about to come out. They said they had 12 at the local Walmart, so I was like really choosing. I was like, should I go with Xbox One or PS4? Because the past 2 generations, I was a Microsoft dude. I was a 360. I had PS3 day one, but I played the Xbox 360 a lot more. Same thing with the original Xbox. I love that over the PS3.
I love the original Xbox. I love it.
Yeah, it was great. So I said, fuck it. And one thing that made me get the Sony, PS4 first, that came out first too. So I was like, I want something new. I think Sony's going to do good this time. I went with it, and I am so glad I did. And another thing too that made me do it was the price. They wanted $500 for the Xbox One, and Sony was $400. So I was like, it's a no-brainer, Mm-hmm. So I went and got my PS4. Then I saw the Xbox One came out. I'm hearing all these problems, that people don't like to connect, etc. The list goes on. Then finally, after over time, I finally got to try an Xbox One. My brother has one, and it don't even add up to the PS4. I don't like the interface. I don't like their store, like how PSN's got the PlayStation Plus store, or whatever you want to call it. I love that whole thing. Everything on the Xbox One is very confusing. I didn't like it. And just overall, I think Sony's just nailed it this generation with, they pretty much took everything from the 360 and ran with it. They got the better third-party games. In my opinion, they have the better exclusives. What exclusives does the Xbox One have? So it's like a no-brainer. It is. They got the bigger install base. They're going to get the better stuff. A lot
of Xbox guys like to use that exclusive thing too. It's like, what the fuck exclusives are you talking about? Gears of War? That game looked like fucking trash. The same shit that I'm trying to step away from, and a lot of gamers are trying to step away from, that FPS mindset. That was ruining gaming a lot last year because all we can get was Western first-person shooters. And that's all the Xbox One is about. It's a Western stereotype.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it was a dude-bro console, absolutely. On top of that, I don't know why they keep also using the first Gears of War. That was on the PC back in 2007, which is another reason why the Xbox One's not appealing. A lot of the games were being migrated to the PC via Windows 10. So it's like what's the point of buying an Xbox One now?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well, you got a lot of Xbox dudes that are all upset with the whole thing with Call of Duty too. That
Oh yeah,
right. On the PS4 exclusive.
And to find out that it was a timed exclusive, they freaked out over nothing.
Mm-hmm. So that's basically my whole reasoning why I went with the PS4. And I don't see anything really coming great out of the Xbox One. Even though I will give credit to Phil Spencer, he is trying to turn things around, but still, the Xbox One's coming up short. It's not.
I can agree on that 100%, dude. The Phil Spencer thing, he has done nothing but great for that system, and as soon as he came in, I'm like, maybe the Xbox want to pick up, and it's picking up better than it was, but there's only so much one man can do.
I mean, when you hear the PS4 has the install base of the Wii U and Xbox One combined, I don't think nothing's catching up to the PS4.
And that's what a lot of these Xbox One fans are salty about, Dave. It's the fact that numbers matter to them. If the PS4 suddenly got outsold by the Xbox One, it's not going to change my opinion. It's not going to make me go out and buy an Xbox One. I don't like the Xbox One, so.
But it's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, where the install base is, where the games are going to go.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a third-party developer and you see an install base of 23 million, you're like, okay, would I go with 10 million on the Wii U or 13 million on the Xbox One? It's where do I want to make my games for? Where am I going to make the most money? It's pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the first thing we want to talk about. Second is the better PSN, that whole hashtag going around, right, Brandon?
Yes, it's really interesting because now Sony has actually spoken out on that. They've actually come out and said, the issue has been addressed. We're fixing it. We're in the process of fixing it, is basically what they're saying. So that's the only real weak link that the PS4 actually has. once that online comes around, once it stops dropping 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever, that's a bad situation right there. It's not always like that, but man, there's nothing anybody's going to be able to do. Unfortunately, if they don't fix it, I'd like them to make it free.
Well, the one thing I have an issue with, every Tuesday, that's usually when all the new DLC comes out for your games, new games come out, and one thing I always run into an issue is it's under maintenance. Like, why is it under maintenance on Tuesday when shit releases? That's the one problem.
That's their default message. They put that up whenever it goes down.
They don't even tell you sometimes where the maintenance is coming out. They just say under maintenance. They give you a scheduled time sometimes.
That's my issue. And then, but you do have to look at some things they did improve in. One thing they did improve is the friends messaging. That was horrible when I first got PS4. It took like 5 minutes to send a message to somebody. They would just stay at like 89 or 98% or something. Like, what the fuck's going on? Then finally they improved that, and they improved where you could see your friends list, because that would keep spinning. So they are working on PSN. Like, they are not just totally ignoring everybody. They are working on it. It's getting better. If I would have, now I never played, one thing I have to admit, with the Xbox One, when I did try my brother's Xbox One, I didn't do nothing online with it. I just did like offline stuff. And I will say, compared to the 360 I did play online, I think the PS4 is on, definitely on par with that. I couldn't see Xbox One much better online than they were with the 360. Would you guys agree? Or
yes, I would agree with that.
Well, I'm talking about like connection-wise, stuff like that. Like, when you're playing a game, if it runs smooth or whatever online, I don't think it's that much better. I think PS4 is pretty damn good, for that.
Yeah, it's better than the Wii U.
Yeah, the Wii, that's horrible. I mean, I don't want that. That's horrible. But yeah, so the whole better PSN, that is good. Does anybody want to, do you have anything to say on that, Dathip, or?
Not much, just, at least this is a, sign of respect from Sony that they actually responded to, as usual, to Sony fans, in regards to the demands for what they want better. Again, this is the perfect example of why Nintendo is not losing competition, because Sony at least responds and addresses issues.
Yeah, they don't try to hide them and sweep them under the rug or call somebody a name, God forbid, for bringing it up.
Nintendo kind of just avoids their problems. They just say, oh, everything's great.
Well, when you have a legion of fanboys going up and saying, no, don't listen to them, it's okay, you guys are good, keep it up, it's confusing.
Yep. When you have everybody just okay with everything they do, it's never going to get better. It's never. And Microsoft's fan base is kind of that way too, that I see. In my eyes, nobody's as bad as the Nintendo fan base for accepting bullshit, but Microsoft comes damn close to Nintendo.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't even close like that. Next thing, I guess, is the whole Shamu 3. I can never say the name of that game right. With the whole... What went on with that, Brandon?
Basically, that is the top #1 ever Kickstarter. It's reached $5 million with 3 days left. There's more, there's less than that, of course, left. But when there was only 3 days left, $5 million. That's ridiculous. And they also got a new trailer, so I'm not sure if Sony released that or how it worked, but they got a brand new trailer. So the thing that's really cool with this game, and that it's coming, is it's not only got its legion of fans, it's building up a shitload of hype. One of the problems I have, though, is the XTwat fuckers like to sit there and they like to say, Kickstarter's shady as fuck. Well, I agree, shady. It can be a little bit shady sometimes. The way Sony's going about it, and now that it's actually incorporated with Sony, it's not shady anymore. It's corporate. It's officially a thing now. Sony's not going to let nothing shady go on with that shit. And the fact that they're getting money to see if a game is actually going to work or not, that's putting your money where your mouth is, and that is going to get those games out that are beyond the first-person shooters, that are beyond the Call of Duties. This is going to get the games that people really want to. I mean, just look at Project Ukulele and the Castlevania stuff and everything that's coming out now. It's the Mighty Number 9s. It's insane. And for the Xbox guys to sit there and say this shit, it's totally naive on their part. They're just blowing smoke. Especially with microtransactions and shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, man, it's absolutely hypocritical that these people, Xbox say that that Kickstarter is very shady, and thanks to all like Mighty Number 9, Shenmue, and all these other IPs like Ukulele, none of these third-party developers even have the rights to some of these games. So these indie developers have to become indie and pretty much kickstart the games from the ground up. At the same time, these clowns will go out and buy the game at GameStop once it releases. So
Yeah,
they
agreed.
don't want to put money now and support developers, but it's not shady, from Sony's part, because they're giving the developer promotion on their stage. You know what I'm saying, to get everybody recognized. I mean, I don't know how Kickstarter would have jumped up in its in the amount of money for the Kickstarter would jump so high if there was no promotion from Sony. But now, since Sony sees development will be good for this, they are now going to back it up. So now it's exclusive.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Especially, I mean, it's giving new genres a chance. There's nothing bad about this. The only reason that the Xbox guys are really mad is because Microsoft didn't think of it first. And I guarantee Microsoft somehow jumps aboard this, and then what? Here comes the hypocrisy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're just mad because that's exclusive. From what I believe, that's exclusive to the PS4, Shenmue 3.
Yeah.
So they're just pissed off. I used to love the old Shenmue, the one on the Dreamcast. I liked it. I was a big fan of that series. I'm glad it's something different that we haven't played in a while. That's what I like. Something they're giving you variety.
Mm-hmm. That's what we need right now. That's really what we need right now, I think.
That's something you're not getting on the Wii U, and you're definitely not getting on the Xbox One. You're getting the same shit. And like the bad thing with Xbox One, like a lot of people say, all their exclusives are pretty much going to the PC. So if you're one thing I'll admit, I'm not a PC gamer, but there's a lot more PC gamers that I run into that have a PC that really the Xbox One doesn't really, it's not nothing to them because all them games are going to be on the PC. Now if you're somebody that don't have a PC and then the Xbox One may cater to you, but there's more people now with a PC. And that would rather go, if they had to go with consoles, they get a PS4 because you're getting stuff different on the PS4 than you're getting from PC. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know DadHip has a PC, and I'm very, very, very familiar with PCs. I build PCs. I just don't have one right now that I could say that is completely up to date. So, but if I was gonna get a PC, I'd rather get a $500 PC than a $350 Xbox One. I mean, it's definitely the poor person's PC.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, I think the biggest reason why people get the console. Well, for collectors out there, they're not going to be messing with the PC. If somebody wants a physical copy of the game and they want to collect Xbox One, regardless of the games come out, they want to pick up a physical copy for their game. So the always choose console or PC because PC is not moving towards the digital age. So I can see why that they would choose Xbox One over a PC regardless.
No, actually, I could totally see why they would too. So I mean, it's a good buy. It's a good part on It's a good move on Microsoft to kind of blend them together. But I just don't know if there's ever going to be another Xbox One or an Xbox now. Are they going to stop with the Xbox? Are they going to make a kind of a stream box next? Who knows?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's kind of scary when you see them really going into just all PC stuff. When they're starting to really put all their exclusives over the PC, that's a bad sign for console.
Absolutely.
So that's not a good thing. I don't really, even though I don't do PC gaming, it's still, I mean, what's the real reason to get an Xbox One if they're going to port? You really go there for exclusive stuff. That's what you want. That's one thing about Sony with the PS4. You can't get Bloodborne anywhere else but a PS4. Even though the order, a lot of people hated it, you can only get it on a PS4. Same thing with Mac. Same thing with Drive Club. That's one thing I like. I like exclusive. That's one thing Nintendo does do. That's good. They have their exclusive games that you can only get on a Wii U or Nintendo platform.
If you can ever get one released.
Yeah. So, I like this, Thanos, what's up, buddy? And Joshua Mintz. I believe.
Minix?
Yeah. How's it going, buddy? Thanks for joining the podcast, or, watching the podcast, that is. Chat. Okay, now we're on to Xbox needs better exclusives that are theirs. Who wants to go first on this one?
Yeah, like you were just saying a little bit ago, Dave. The Xbox One doesn't really have any exclusives that they can call their own. They're all third-party handled or second-party handled. Like for instance, Bungie. Okay, they are in the process right now of realizing that PlayStation is the elite console when it comes to sales and when it comes to graphics and when it comes to everything. And they've, for those of you that know, have released Halo 5. whatever, it's coming out on the PS4, it's out on the PS4, I don't know. But somehow, some way, and I don't know if this is pre-orders, which I doubt it's pre-orders. I didn't even know this game came out until the other day, actually, or was coming out. I have no idea. But regardless, it's 21 million to the Xbox One's 13 million. So obviously, it had to be put out. So yeah, they're doubling essentially what the Xbox One sells, and that's an Xbox One known game. So. Somebody's in trouble, and somebody needs to really, and I'm talking about Xbox, obviously, needs to get some exclusives that they can call their own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not good when they don't, when you, like I said, you know, at least Bloodborne you can get on a PS4, Knack you can get on a PS4, The Order you can get on a PS4. When most people buy a console or something, or the reason they have different consoles is for exclusives, and Microsoft is not offering that.
And soon you're going to be able to get Street Fighter V on PS4, you're going to be able to get Horizon, you're going to be able to get Hitman, you're going to be able to get Uncharted, you're going to be able to get Shenmue, and these are all exclusive to the system. So.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons too.
No Man's Sky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not only that, not only is it Microsoft barely having exclusive support their system, but they're also losing even third-party developers support too. Like, you know, Titanfall 2, the developer said we're bringing this to PS4 because we know the sales for the Xbox One were mediocre. You know what I'm saying? And then they want to now bring it to a PS4 because of the big, huge install base. They're losing support because Sony went in and then got the time exclusive DLC for Call of Duty Black Ops. That's why these Xtwats are making Xbox Are We Right hashtag campaign for their platforms. They're losing a lot of third-party support for the system that's moving to the PS4. That was the foundation of their platform in the last generation of 360. That's moving to the PS4 now. So, yeah, that's all Microsoft's for, man.
Yeah, the Xbox guys should really get into the salt business. They should really look to like sell some of this salt that they have to salt companies. They can make a lot of money. I mean, they have enough salt to de-ice the roads. I mean, they're salty right now because of these sales, because of the third-party guys coming out and saying this, and it's nothing but good, really, for the PS4.
Yeah, what about the Broken Collection, the Halo Master Chief Collection? I guess that is exclusive to the Xbox One, right?
Technically, but you're getting a bunch of ports, but Halo 2 Anniversary is only quote-unquote exclusive for that collection. 1, 3, and 4 are just ports upscaled to 180p 60 frames per second.
Isn't that a remastered?
Yeah, a remastered collection. That's what it is.
And then all they do is talk about how all we get is remasters, and they got backwards compatibility and all this shit. It's like, dude, you play a lot of remastered yourself.
Oh, that's a joke, man. Like, you just mentioned backwards compatibility. That's a joke on the Xbox One also. Like when they announced backwards compatibility at E3, and you go in and check the updated list for the games that are going backwards compatible with the Xbox One, it's very small. It's like 22 games, and not only that, it's not as simple as in putting your 360 game in the Xbox One and bam, you just start playing it on the Xbox One. You actually have to download a file, a server file for that system, and then before you can start playing it. So you're adding more space to the console.
I also heard that they're not going to be very high quality. They're going to be a little bit less than quality than the Xbox 360.
And so the frame rate is low too.
What would you rather have, a remastered game, or would you want a game that's pretty much just from last generation?
Well, I would rather have a remastered personally, only because at least it's something new. But the thing is, we really need to stop focusing on the past so much. I mean, this isn't an NES you're talking about. This has no collector's value. This is an Xbox 360. What are you going to play? Call of Duty World at War, the same game that you played for 20 hours? Are you going to play that for 20 more hours? Like, really?
Yeah. And the worst part is a lot of those games are a lot of those exclusives. The Xbox don't even want to play. A lot of them actually are JRPGs, and they don't even want to play that.
Yeah, that's pathetic.
I don't see it being a big deal like a lot of these people from the Microsoft fan base are making, that this whole backwards being backwards compatible, it's great. I think that's I think people buy new consoles to play new things.
Exactly.
New experiences, not old experiences. But
I can see the comment section lighting up right now. They're like, well, all you guys get is remastered, so yeah, no, we get more than that.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if you want old experiences, go to the Xbox One. New experiences, the PS4. Plain and simple. Next thing I guess we're going to talk about is the the whole Xbox One microtransactions? What is that, Brandon?
Okay, so basically a lot of their third-party games, or excuse me, first-party titles like Gears and like the Halo game that's coming out, they're going to have mini microtransactions, and I believe, and this isn't the only games, they're introducing microtransactions. Now, I think Microsoft is right now learning, and they don't understand that this is not a good idea. This is something that is hated and vilified in the gaming community to get nickeled and dimed, especially from a company that comes off as very American and very capitalist. Nobody wants to give $1 to Microsoft after they've already paid $60. This is something that I think is very hypocritical from Microsoft and Microsoft fans, because Sony doesn't do this. Sony wouldn't even dream of doing this. They can't. That would hurt them. So I don't understand why Microsoft thinks they can do this. This is absolutely unacceptable.
Yeah, I don't like microtransactions. I never did. I don't like the whole. I don't even like microtransactions in Grand Theft Auto. I don't care for that stuff. I wish that's one thing with gaming I wish should go away is microtransactions.
Yeah, this isn't a cell phone, okay? This isn't Candy Crush. You can't do that to AAA games.
Nickel and diming you. I believe when you buy a $60 game, you should get the game. I don't want to have nothing to do with microtransactions. What's your thoughts, Tip, on microtransactions? And
it has never bothered me at all. But I'm not going to damage control it because certain games, like for example, in Forza 5, and the microtransactions for that game, you have the ability to either buy that microtransaction, you can unlock most of the cars, or you can actually earn all the cars by playing the career or the free lap section in the game, and to actually get that content. But what's worse is when you start taking it's like on this DLC when you start taking content from the disc or making deals on the side before you release the game and then put it in the game before to charge it like a season pass, to get money out of it. So that's not good in any shape or form. A lot of the games today are doing it. Even actually Metal Gear Solid 5 will actually have transactions in it. But I'm looking forward to that. But I hope to God that game will not put any form of content that you will only get through a microtransaction. I want that to be earned through the game. So.
Yeah, they can't. You can't. This isn't an MMO. You shouldn't have that kind of an advantage over somebody if you have money.
Yeah, I don't like games that they give you advantage if you're spending money. It's just bullshit. Then play the game and be good at it. I don't want people to have an advantage over me just because they paid some fucking money. It's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. That actually can guide us pretty well into that whole controller topic, Dave, with the whole new Elite controller. It's got hair triggers, I truly think that gives you an unfair advantage as well. It costs $150, first of all. That's way too much. It does have you can take out the controller, the buttons, you can kind of customize the buttons and all that stuff like that. But the thing is, I can open my PS4 controller, I can fix it if I need to, I can take out buttons. I just can't put any new ones in. So it's really like a dumbed down thing. I don't understand why you should even have to take buttons out at all. Why you should be able to have hair triggers and why you would have an advantage. Hair triggers are going to give you an advantage. Period. That's not cool. This isn't PC gaming. You can't. They're really trying to make it PC gaming too.
They're trying to turn into PC gaming. It looks like. I in general, even $60 I paid for this controller. For another controller, and that's expensive to me. But $150, fuck no. I'm not.
No, especially when it takes batteries. Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, and it takes batteries. What day and age are we in, Microsoft?
Apparently 92.
I mean, $150. I was like, okay, I'll admit, I was like, that controller looked cool. But when I saw $150, no, it don't look cool for $150. Not happening. Not with me, at least. The next thing too we're going to talk about is Street Fighter V.
Yeah, if you'd like to talk about Street Fighter V and you'd like to get into what PS4 actually has exclusive, you look none other than Street Fighter V. This is one of those games that really pissed off the Xbox guys, because there's a lot of people that like fighting games on the Xbox One. Well, they ain't getting Street Fighter, and I gotta admit I laughed a little bit, especially seeing the rebuttal to that. What can you expect though? It's Capcom. Capcom's hurting right now. And they need to capitalize.
I think Street Fighter V will sell very well on the PS4. I know a lot of people are looking forward to that game. What about you, Dathip? Are you looking forward to Street Fighter V?
day one, man. I already pre-ordered the game so I can play the beta next week. But the Xbox shouldn't be crying because they got their own fighting exclusive, which is Killer Instinct. And on top of that, there will be also cross-playing feature with Windows 10 when that comes out next year. So that's their answer to the game. That's what Phil Spencer said. He said that our response to Street Fighter V for the PlayStation 4 and the PC is that we got Killer Instinct. So there should be no reason to complain. That's their problem. They can get a PC and get Street Fighter V or a PS4, and that's that.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I was a big fan of Killer Instinct, but I would take Street Fighter over Killer Instinct any day of the week.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Especially new Killer Instinct. I'm not too into the new one. I messed around with it for a second. It doesn't give me that SNES Killer Instinct, N64 Killer Instinct vibe.
Well, didn't they take out the whole, like, what did Killer Instinct have? Like, there was like fatalities. What was it called?
Ultra combos.
Didn't they take out that on the Xbox One? That version, like their fatality type things with Killer Instinct. I heard that wasn't in the game.
No, they still haven't updated finishers in the game yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Killer Instinct. I mean, to me.
Oh no, I beg to differ, man. I won't deny it. The Killer Instinct, the reboot, is freaking amazing. They've been the developers of Double Helix. I'm not going to deny that. That game was absolutely amazing. The voice actor, who does the combo breakers and everything. A lot of people keep saying it looks like Street Fighter with just a Killer Instinct skin on it. You have to play a game in depth. You will have to see that the character models, the combat, everything is perfectly resembling of the old Killer Instinct on the arcade, Super Nintendo, and the N64. The thing is that people are just not giving it a chance. I beg to differ.
But it's a free-to-play game too that I don't like. I don't like free-to-play games.
You can pick up a physical copy of the game.
I just don't like how they did the whole free-to-play thing. And what if you were to buy all the different expansions for it, or whatever you want to call it? Doesn't it come out to be way over $60?
No. If you actually, they're releasing the combo breaker packs, which includes there's 3 seasons, 1, 2, and 3, and each one's $20, so they add up to $60. But I agree that you shouldn't have to wait 3 years just for all the. That's BS.
The one thing that really got me about that game is I believe it was more of a damage control game. I remember they came out with the Xbox One and they were all about the sports, and people were like, "Where's the games?" And it's like, we got Killer Instinct coming out, and it's like, oh, that was smart of you guys. Yeah, way to fucking suck up to the fucking real gamers and like people that want Capcom, or excuse me, not Capcom. Yeah, Capcom. Sorry about that. And it was bullshit. I didn't really like how they went about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't like. I'm not big on the whole free-to-play ordeal.
Shady business practices.
I want to buy a game, own it for $60. I mean, what if they come out with a season 4 and then it's even more than $60 the whole thing? I don't know. I don't stand behind free-to-play games.
I just hope Capcom doesn't make Super Street Fighter 4 and Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. It's the Super Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition.
Yeah, it's.
Let me just say this: if I did get an Xbox One, I would be interested in Sunset Overdrive, and I might pick up Killer Instinct. But right now, let's just say I was to like Killer Instinct, let's just say, and I was to get into it, it's not worth buying an Xbox One for one game.
I mean, if you just had an Xbox One and you sold it because you pretty much said it wasn't, you had a PC.
Nah, man, trash box one, dude. That's what it is. I had the Xbox One for like 2 or 3 months, man, and the more news that got confirmed that these games were coming to PC. Like again, we saw Rise Sun Rome and what's the other game? Dead Rising 3 coming to PC via Steam. Okay, I said, all right, fine. Microsoft still has the Quantum Break. They still have Crackdown. They still have Scalebound coming up. These games are no doubt Xbox One exclusive. Then we start seeing news about Gears of War 1 and Killer Instinct coming to PC. And then we got a rumor about Sunset Overdrive coming to PC. I was like, wait, what am I doing with this money? But the thing is, it was good for me is I bought the system for only $235 off eBay. I bet you that person wanted to get rid of his Xbox One really badly. So I bought it, played for about a couple months. Then I sold it on eBay for a higher than amount, like $285. Got my money back, and I bought games for the PlayStation 4. And I said, I'm not buying Xbox One ever again. So I'm not touching it.
That's a funny story, actually, because actually my mother, she won an Xbox One from some kind of NASCAR event, and she says, she even put on the NASCAR Facebook, I'm giving this to my son. My son is going to be so happy to get this, and I wanted to comment on it so bad. Go, you can keep that shit. But here's the thing, she ended up giving it to me. I opened it, I played it for a second, and then immediately out the door to GameStop it goes.
What's up, Yoshi Ramirez? Thanks for watching the podcast. I really appreciate it. You always watch a lot of my podcasts. Thanks for your support, man. I should
have recorded an unboxing of that now that I'm thinking. I don't know why I didn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the next thing we got here? We got the whole parody in PS4.
Yeah, this one's a really controversial subject because it really shows off the fact that these PS4 games that are coming out, and a lot of these people, they say, well, these games are choppy, these games are, they don't look as good as the Xbox One version. Well, I would disagree wholeheartedly. Let's just look at The Witcher 3, for example. Okay, The Witcher 3 came out on PS4, and it was buggy. It ran a tiny bit better on the Xbox One. Now, granted, the Xbox One is running below HD textures, like even some sub-HD is what I've heard. And also, not to mention, the frame rate on the Xbox One goes from like 28 to 36. And if you call that a stable frame rate, I'm sorry, but you have no idea what a stable frame rate is. Now, the thing is, with the parity, The Witcher 3 probably wouldn't have ran so bad on the PS4 if it wasn't an Xbox One version ported over. If you guys don't know what parity is, basically what it means is a lot of these third-party devs, they're coming out to make the games look identical on the consoles, so people aren't more influenced to buy the PS4 version. And that's bullshit because the PlayStation 4 has better hardware for a reason. And I truly think that The Witcher 3 could have been 60 frames per second if we didn't have this whole parity clause thing.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Xbox One is holding the PS4 back.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt.
Would you agree with that, Pip?
Yeah, absolutely, man. A lot of the Xbox are trying to. This wasn't just Witcher 3. They started using this stuff with like Resident Evil HD Remastered, Resident Evil Revelations 2. They were saying, "Oh, look, man, it's got like stable frame rate. The PS4 version is broken." And then later they patched the game, and then the videos exposed to Xbox that, oh look, the PS4 indeed is a superior version. So like these games by these developers, they're just being lazy. That's all it is. It's like the same situation with Batman Arkham Knight. That's a total mess on PC. Thank God I got my money back. The game was a total broken port, and a lot of PC games nowadays are getting broken ports because of lazy developers. They're held responsible for not making these games optimized for the platform. So if you're going to make a game for just a console exclusive only, you should make it on the superior platform first, and then port it over to the easier console, so there will be no issue with parity.
Yeah, just like the Batman thing on PC, it's just a lazy devs. It's just absolutely lazy devs. RXL's one of those guys I thought would have had more sympathy for the PC versions of things, even though he's bashing the shit out of it. I figured he would have more sympathy since it, is the devs' fault, and PS4 is suffering semi the same as like the Batman game because of the lazy devs. I don't understand. I don't understand why he wouldn't be on board just killing parity instead of just like, oh, PS4 is better than PC. It doesn't make any sense.
I like RSL too. He's trolling, but man, I like he's great, man. He's a comedian. I don't know.
I think he's trolling.
The whole parody thing, I wish that would just go away, but I mean, I guess they want to keep it,
It's going to go away as the devs start seeing the PS4 sell more. That's why I'm excited that the PlayStation 4 is doing so well for third-party devs, because now they're going to be like, yeah, fuck this.
Mm-hmm. What about the whole thing with Dead Island 2? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
Is that now that's not going to, Dead Island 2 is going to be no more?
Oh no, that's not what they said. They said that it's just in a bad situation. Like
it's inferior compared to Dying Light.
Yeah, and one of the support developers had to go. So it's in a crisis right now, but it's not 100% confirmed that they're canceling Dead Island 2 or something like that.
Yeah, basically what happened, I believe, was they got a cheap, if I heard it right, they got a cheapo dev company to make the game, and they didn't spend very much money on making the game. So I mean, it's like you get what you pay for, kind of like what. The devs obviously aren't as experienced as like somebody you would pay a lot of money to. And granted, this is from Rich of Review Tech USA's video. I got this info from, so it could be off, but...
Okay. What do you guys think about that Until Dawn that's coming out on August 25th? Are you guys looking forward to that? I've seen some more gameplay actually from it recently, and that looks really good. And they, people always say PS4 has no exclusives this year. Well, we got Until Dawn. That does look good.
Yeah, I agree. That looks pretty neat.
I'm gonna wait. I like interactive movies and like stuff like that. Like Heavy Rain was great on the PS3, but I'm gonna wait after it comes out.
I agree. I'm gonna wait a little bit too. I don't normally buy a game unless it's like Witcher 3. I bought The Witcher 3 because I needed an Oblivion-style game on the PS4. I bought that immediately, so, I mean, it depends.
I'm just hoping that it's a long game. I hope it isn't short. They did say that you can pretty much interact with every character in the game. They said if you are a fan of Heavy Rain, they said this would probably be the game for you. I think it'll be good. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence of it day one because, you got Metal Gear coming out September, I believe, 1st? Is it September 1st? Metal Gear's coming out? Right, September, I know.
Let me check. It is in September.
Mad Max comes out the same day, too.
Yeah, Mad Max, and I think you got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, I believe, coming out that month, too. So there's going to be some big game releases, but the one big exclusive coming next for Sony is Until Dawn, which I'm just hoping is a good game. I mean, it could be... I'm not sure if it's a game I have to have day one, but I do like survival horror, and I think they're trying something different with that game.
If it's longer than the order, then I might consider it.
Mm-hmm. My friend actually just got the order, believe it or not. He got the collector's edition for $19.99 on Amazon's sale that they got going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
He actually got the collector's edition for that for $19.99. That's ridiculous.
I'm gonna check that right now.
That is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty much too. Okay, we gotta talk about it. I mean, we gotta give the good news with the bad. What about Godzilla? I mean,
fuck Godzilla. I'm not even into that. I was never into movie games. Fuck that.
I was gonna buy that game day one. I said that before in other podcasts, several videos, but my GameStop didn't have the game available, and I was like, I'm not waiting for Amazon to come to my package. So I was like, I'll just pick up another time. And then I went on IGN and GameSpot, and I was like, wait, hold on, man. I saw the review 4.5 out of 10. I said, is it that bad? Because I played all the previous Godzilla games before. I played Straw Monsters, Unleashed. I played all of them, and they were all great. But this one was, wow, that's terrible. I was like,
to me, didn't it looks like it just came from the PS3, and I understand the game is on the PS3 too.
It was made on PS3 then ported to PS4.
Yeah, so they kind of did, but they didn't even like update. It doesn't look like they updated the graphics much or anything. It looks like this. Here you go. Here's a port. I mean, I'm sorry. I knew that game was gonna be I mean, I know there's Godzilla fans, but I knew that game was gonna be a bomb. I knew it. That's why I didn't even look twice. I wasn't even consider getting it.
Yeah, if you're an Xbox fan out there and you're trying to use this as ammunition against the PS4, just shut the fuck up, dude. Even the PS4 guys know this is shit. Just shut up.
Every console has its bad things, and Godzilla, unfortunately, is the PS4's.
I'm glad that we can all realize that every system has its bad things and its good things.
Yeah, every system has its bad things.
It takes a real logical person to do that. Like them crap gamers and them next gen 720s, they'll never see the bad in the Xbox One. So.
That's why I was saying. That's why I was saying that the God of War 3 was a joke. But yeah, he saw the videos of the gameplay before it even came out, so he's just damage controlling it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, every console has its flaws, and unfortunately, Godzilla is the PS4. What did you guys think of the whole God of War 3 remaster that just came out?
That looked great. That looked good.
Right. Yeah, you can fix. By the way, we talked about that yesterday. You can fix the box. You can stretch it out so it's full screen in the option.
Okay, so Grandpachi did a video of the whole box thing. He says it's a game in a box, and he was going on about that. But you can fix that, right?
It's the aspect ratio of the resolution, and yes, you can put it in 16:9 as opposed to, I believe it's 4:3.
I never finished War 3, but I don't know if that works.
That was because the original game used to be, I believe they made it to be played on an old school TV, and I believe that's the case, but I'm not sure.
And what happened? What'd you say?
Well, I said that I'm a God of War fan, so I bought it. It's a great game.
Okay, yeah, God of War. I have never actually I'm being honest. Never finished any of the God of War games. I have played them because like I said, the last 2 generations I was more into Microsoft. This generation, I'm kind of back into with Sony, like I was with the PS1. That generation. Sony's just pretty much killing it. So it's a no-brainer. Sony's the way to go. I don't see how anybody can sit there and defend fucking Microsoft. I don't understand how they do it, but they do it. You got people doing it daily here on YouTube.
A lot of these guys that have been gaming that game on Xbox, they've probably only been gaming since, I don't know, 2005 or 2004. A lot of them are probably young. A lot of them have no history probably with actually gaming. Because you remember the first-person shooter craze, that whole deal? The Xbox 360 was the real innovator in that, and a lot of people that didn't game came to play these Call of Duties and stuff like that. And those people still reside on the Xbox One.
Yeah. On top of that, out of the 7 Call of Duties that came out last generation, 5 of them sold better on the Xbox. There you go.
Somebody in the comments section said they should have made all the God of Wars remastered except the shit called Ascension. I agree. I think they should have remastered 1 through 3 at least.
They remastered that game so many times, it's crazy. I think it's like 3 times.
Now, one thing I do want to say, I don't know how true this is, but TechRev told me, one of my buddies, he bought God of War 3 remastered digitally. And digitally was having a deal, like if you bought it, pre-ordered it from them, they would give you God of War 1 and 2 for PlayStation Now, both 90-day rentals for God of War 1 and a 90-day rental for God of War 2. But he said you have to have PlayStation Now to actually use that.
I'm not into that. I'm not into PlayStation
don't
Now. That's one thing I don't like about Sony is PlayStation Now. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of that.
I mean, my issues with PlayStation Now is like when I was using it. One thing I didn't like, you had to use the free trial. You had to like use your credit card, so I forgot to take it off my credit card, and they actually charged me for it, for a month of PlayStation Now. So I was like, all right, I paid for it. I'm going to use it. Now it isn't a bad service, but the only thing I don't like, when you leave a game on paused, if you leave it like too long, it shuts you right out of the game. So you can't just leave your game paused and go do something for a second, because it's most likely not going to stay there. You're going to have to restart. If you didn't save, you're fucked, or had an auto save. And I was actually playing Shadow of the Colossus, so I was kind of fucked when it fucking booted me out of my game.
That's bullshit, dude. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I don't like that on PlayStation Now, but I heard that you had to have PlayStation Now, so I guess you had to have $20. You had to spend $20 to actually use the 90-day rentals. I don't know how true that is, but that's what I heard. That's one deal they had going with the God of War 3 remaster. But I agree with you. Huh?
Can you just buy God of War 3, or do you have to rent it on PlayStation Now?
No, God of War 3 is $40. Now, what do you mean?
Okay, the PlayStation Now games that are is there any games that are exclusive to PlayStation Now, or
not that I see. It's all just mainly stuff from PS3, and you can play it on your PlayStation Now service. So
it's backwards compatibility essentially. So what are people bitching about? I mean, I don't like the service, but at least it's backwards compatibility, and at least you don't have to sit. It's basically the same process. You still have to install the game. You still have to. Wait a minute. No, wait. Do you have to install the game?
Well, no. You don't install the game when you're in. Sorry, you're using PS Now. You don't install the game at all. All you do is basically pay for that the service. How much you're going to pay, like 30 days, a month, 6 months, whatever it may be, and then automatically the game is on your dashboard. You can just automatically run it.
So it's on-living. It's like streaming it.
Yeah, you're not installing anything.
Sweet. That's actually cool. I didn't know that.
It's a 14-day trial if you want to try it, though.
The only thing with the whole backwards compatible thing with Xbox One versus PlayStation Now, you still gotta buy those games. You have to own that game to play it backwards compatible. PlayStation Now, I can just go and I don't have to go. It's people make it out to be like it's this great thing. You still have to own the game. And
then I'm pretty sure you don't get a quality degrade either.
Yeah, it's no difference in quality. It's still the 360. I mean, they're making a big deal out of nothing, really. The only thing cool I've seen with that they're doing, like, okay, when Rainbow Six Siege comes out, you get Vegas and the other one too. Did you notice that? They're going to actually give you those games. Same thing with Fallout 4. You get Fallout 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, you actually get that. Like, if you buy Fallout 4, you get Fallout 3 for the 360 on Xbox One. And they did the same thing with Rainbow Six Siege. You get the other two you get Vegas and the other one.
Yeah, Vegas one.
So that's not bad. That's kind of cool. I'll give them that. But other than that, I mean, I don't really want to play last generation consoles games. If I did, I would have kept my PS3. You know, in the beginning of, I'll say this, I'll be fair. When the PS4 came out and the Xbox One came out, shit was kind of rough. You know, there wasn't many games the first year. Now, if you are a person still having problems finding a game to play, there is something wrong with you. There's games out on the PS4 now, and I'll even say, from what there was on the Xbox One, there's games. There's no reason you should have to go back to last generation to play games.
People ain't gamers, bro. A lot of people ain't gamers. They're saying, I got some people out there, damage control, and saying that Bloodborne is a dungeon crawler. I'm like, they're saying that Bloodborne
it's a little more than that.
Too easy. I mean, sorry, it's too hard. They don't want to play that game. I was like, dude, this game's not catered to you. You like that casual dude bro stuff. That's why you ain't gonna like it. I would say though, with regards to PSN, though, just one last thought is for those who if you're going to get PSN, I advise you to finish the game as quick as you can when playing that type of game, because if you're renting it for like 30 days, you might want to yell at it as quick as you can, because the more you keep paying for that money and you're not finishing the game, then you're not going to get that value you want.
I'll give PS Now this. It does make you finish a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. One other thing that I don't really hear anybody talking about, and it's got to be coming close to coming out. What about the Project Morpheus? What do you guys think's going to go on with that?
Oh man, I gotta get on. Oh, I am so on the hype train for this shit, especially with No Man's Sky coming out. Oh, jeez, you're like literally. I'm gonna have the Morpheus on. I'm gonna be playing No Man's Sky, and my only communication with the real world is probably gonna be at Twitch for a while.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
How's this gonna work? Can I play Project Morpheus with just? Does it have to be certain games, or can
I'm pretty sure you're not going to want to play like The Witcher 3 on that because there's no first-person view. So I don't even know if those games would even work on it.
Alien Isolation, like, can I play that with the PlayStation Now? I mean, the Morpheus. I mean,
I'm not sure. The one thing I was a little bit concerned about was if No Man's Sky was going to get support for Morpheus, or if certain games are going to get support for it. So really, we don't know.
Yeah, I seen the demo for that shark game. That looked pretty cool. I mean, it does. It has. I noticed a lot of developers are talking about the whole virtual reality. I think that's, you know, if it does take off, which it is questionable, I think that's where the next step with gaming will go. You see, Nintendo, they're not even doing that. You know, from what we can tell.
It's because we've reached a pinnacle when it comes to it. It used to be a lot harder to do. Now we actually kind of got it more figured out. I mean, if you look at the Oculus Rift, it's supposedly got like the 3DS style of 3D. So when you put the headset on, you are engulfed in this world. Like it's popping out at you. And I was watching old people react to the Oculus Rift, and they're like, "Oh my God, people are going to go insane on this." Like they were really freaking out. But granted, that it was old people, but they were into it.
Are they bringing back the PlayStation Move for this, or do you have to have a PlayStation Move for it? Or
no, the light bar on the PS4 controller, actually, that light bar doesn't do nothing. It's actually for that. It's actually for that kind of stuff. That is the PlayStation Move.
Okay. So that's going to be with the light bar. See, I think it's definitely going to be something that you're going to have to experience at like your local Best Buy or something. I wouldn't go out and just buy a Project Morpheus or whatever, not even experience it. It's something you're going to have to try. There is people for it, there's people against it. I see a lot of people that aren't even considering it. They said, "Oh, I don't want virtual reality, I want a controller." You know, which I do agree with. I'd rather just have a regular old controller, but virtual reality is something I actually would, you know, give a chance, because it's something that I've always wanted if they do it right. The Virtual Boy was not virtual reality.
No, it wasn't. That's why Nintendo don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they failed miserably. You know.
Yeah. No denying that.
Reggie spoke on it, and he said if it's social or some shit, he gave some weird explanation because they did ask him, "Will you get into virtual reality?" He's like, "Well, if it's social or some shit," he was saying. I was like, "No."
What the fuck? Nintendo don't care about social shit. What the fuck?
What about the Uncharted 3 collection? Are you guys considering that?
Oh, they won't buy it from me. I never finished Uncharted 1, and I also didn't finish Uncharted 3 as well. Got halfway through it. I'm buying it day one. I'm going to be playing that beta also as well, so I'm a big Uncharted fan. Can't wait to give them that. They're going to buy it from me.
Okay. Yeah, I never played 1 or 2, so I'm probably going to actually get it. At first I was a little annoyed that they did not include the multiplayer, and the reason why I was annoyed, it's not that I want the multiplayer that much, I just want the whole game, because if you see one developer getting away with not adding multiplayer, then they're going to do it with every game. They're going to say, oh, we can just do this and not add this. When you buy a product, you want the full thing. I don't care if you didn't want it or nothing. Give me the whole thing that it was originally if it's supposedly a remaster.
I was under the impression that was a single-player game.
I'm talking about Uncharted 2. They're not going to give you the multiplayer.
Yeah, Uncharted. I thought it was. Oh, so they're not making multiplayer for it, is what you're saying?
Yeah, they're not adding the multiplayer with Uncharted. You're getting 1, 2, and 3, which 1 never had multiplayer, but 2 did and 3 did, but they're not including that. And there's people kind of a little pissed off about that. My whole take on it, I don't really care for Uncharted's multiplayer. It's not that big of a deal where I'll totally ignore the game, but I think it all should be there. I think that's the whole point of, like, remastering a game, giving you the whole thing that was actually in the game. Like,
imagine The Last of Us without multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, just think of it. What if the developer said, you know what, before Last of Us came out, we're remastering Last of Us, but we're not putting the multiplayer. Could you imagine how many people would be up in arms about that? That would have sucked,
Yeah, that would have sucked. Bad.
So, I mean, that's one thing. And then you do have rumors going around of Last of Us 2, with the whole thing with the voice actor from The Last of Us, one of the voice actors in the game.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I think will be shown at E3 2016. I think we'll get a teaser for The Last of Us 2. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah,
me too.
Teaser.
I mean, that's one thing everybody wants, But if you guys don't have anything else, I guess we can come to a close on this podcast.
This was awesome. I really had a good time on this one, Dib.
Great time. It's the first of many. It's something new that I'm doing, and Brandon, and I think Dathip's going to be with us from here on out, as long as he wants to join, and we're good to go, and eventually get some more people maybe on, or maybe just keep it this way. Thank you all for watching. There's been a lot of people in the comments. I appreciate it. Wolf Flow. I always say your name, Baba Kakarok. I always say it wrong. One of my big supporters on Twitch, Coco Sparks. Yoshi Ramirez, thank you for following us too today. Who else? Let's see. Levon Kason. Levon asked to be in the podcast, but this is something new, Levon. We're just doing us 3 for this time. Maybe in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to Levon.
Yeah, shout out to Levon. He's one of my big supporters.
Yeah, he's mine too.
Everybody watched the podcast. It's our first one. We plan to keep doing more. It's something new. The Dave's Had Enough show will still take place, but this is me and Brandon's and Dathip's other podcast that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, one more thought before we go.
Thank you, Dathip, for joining the first one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I much appreciate it. One more thing first before we close is the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection will have a demo this summer, so I forgot to mention.
Yeah, they're gonna have the multiplayer demo, and that's what a lot of people are. Believe it or not, that's what a lot of people are actually buying that for. That don't really even care to buy those games again. They're just buying it for that multiplayer beta.
No, not Uncharted 4. The Uncharted collection will have a single player demo.
Well, they're gonna have a single player demo. Now, I thought it was a multiplayer. I thought it was the multiplayer.
No, an Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta will come with the game, but for the collection that's coming out in October, they're gonna have the single player demo for that experience.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess something I didn't know. Okay, cool. Critical Hit 64, Braden Cole. Thank you for starting this with me, and this was all pretty much Brandon's idea. I just kind of came up with the name, but appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, no problem, buddy. I mean, it's just cool. I mean, I think that we need more Sony-style podcasts going on because nobody really needs to defend Sony or even talk about Sony. But I know the PlayStation gamers would like some kind of a podcast, so this is probably a good place for them to get.
I see a lot of Xbox dudes, and I don't see many Sony. I see Nintendo out the ass. Even Microsoft, I'm seeing a lot of, but there's no Sony. So if you want a Sony podcast, here you go, guys. This is it. We're gonna be covering like pretty much everything to do with the PS4 and everything, you know, outside, you know, stuff like that's against, you know, stuff that goes on with the other companies too, but mainly involves the PS4. All right, till next time. Thank you, YouTube.